Welcome back to the remote version of the All Things Considered Disc Golf podcast. I am your host, Jacob, joined as always by Cameron via a distance this
Right.
week. Cameron, why don't you tell people like where the heck you're at, where you're
Well,
living,
I
and
was,
what we're going to talk about?
yeah, I was lucky wanting to keep it kind of a secret on where I was. It's tomorrow this comes out on Monday, which is today, actually, and I think about it. Tomorrow, I'm playing the first number one course in all 50 states course. I'll give you a hint. I wanted to keep it a little hush, and make it exciting. I'm in Arkansas. I'll give you that. You can look it up should you choose. If not, on Friday you'll see it. So be tuned for that. We got a few things today. We have the Memorial Championship went down in Arizona. We have another Tour Down Under event in New Zealand, and then lastly we got Big Jerm to MVP. So let's go ahead and get started here. We'll start with Big Jerm because that will probably be maybe the quickest. I don't know. Regardless, what did you think about the Jerm's move to MVP, or just move in general? You know what I mean?
Um, okay, I think move wasn't necessarily surprising to me, but I do feel like I wasn't expecting him to just like sign on kind of like in a player type of contract. I thought he would take on more with wherever he went. I thought it'd be more of
Mm-hmm.
like a ownership type of
Yeah,
stake.
that's exactly what I thought was happening.
And somebody actually was talking about like him going back to Prodigy, and I'm like, oh, that would be like a fun thing.
Mm,
But like he wasn't like a part of the team that built it, but he was like an early pro that represented
sure.
them,
Yeah.
like a lot of them did back in the like early 2010s and stuff. So I thought that would have been cool. I think that I'm glad that as a retailer, I anybody that's popular that goes to MVP, I love because
Sure.
quite honestly, like consumers love the discs. You know what I mean? Like I know that Jeremy, like he's doing the not the tempo. What's his disc? They just announced it.
No, it is the tempo.
They put a stamp on something. I don't
It's the
remember.
tempo.
Wait, is it the tempo?
Yeah.
But like people are gonna buy that. You
Well,
know what
and
I mean?
especially
Like
those because
that's just that is going to
there's
get purchased.
there's never been stock runs of those either. So I think you could get them in like
Yeah.
Gyropalooza
Yeah.
boxes. So you can get like random ones or factory second ones, but like that's the only opportunity. I think the MVP Open when they did all that special stuff, there might have been one there too. But yeah,
Hmm.
so just another hit. Like I think it's very zone esque. I've honestly never thrown one, but I believe that's kind of
Okay.
what it is. And so obviously, like that disc is just
Sure.
that's going to be popular. That's a slot in everyone's bag. But yeah, it's
Yeah. So I think what I sorry, I
no.
had
Go
a
ahead.
couple other things there
Go ahead.
with
Yeah.
Germ. I think that I still think that because Jeremy posted something on his Instagram story about like how he's going to be playing a little bit less like in the major open scene. Well, that was a poor choice of words. He's basically going to be playing the majors in the
Sure.
normal
He will
MPO
not be a
scene.
major part of.
He will not be a major part
Sure.
of the tour in terms
Right.
of like playing and competing. But
Right.
like to jump onto a 4 year deal indicates that he's still obviously going to be playing, maybe, yeah, just like at the Masters level.
Mm-hmm.
But I think right now um you've got obviously these like titans in terms of players in Discraft and MVP. Um and what's interesting to me, our dad actually was showing me some stats. Uh and the most popular brand of disc is still Innova by like an astronomical margin.
That's like overall or like in our store alone. Oh wow. Sure.
Overall like basically fan appreciation.
Right.
They're like
Oh
Innova
okay.
is my favorite, and Discraft might be my second favorite, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Right.
I would have thought that Discraft or MV. So now here's what the rankings were. Innova was number one, like by a ton, like
Mm-hmm.
15-20%.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Discraft was a big drop, and then it was Discraft. Now I will say they split up MVP, Axiom, and Streamline into different groups. But
Yeah,
even
that's
if they
fair.
did, so Dad was trying to do the math, of course. And even if they did group them together, I think they would have maybe barely beat Discraft for second, but it was still large and away. Still many, 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 many percentages away from Innova's, appreciation amongst fans. And I think that goes to just like how Innova is always the most consistent. And how people even don't even recognize that like they might even have Innova discs in their bag. They might be like, oh, I threw a ton of MVP. And then they look in their bag and they're like, oh, I still actually have this like T-Bird. I still have this Thunderbird. I still have this Destroyer. Like they may not even throw them that much, but like they still have them in their bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that just kind of goes to show that even though like obviously in terms of players, Discraft and MVP are kind of like running the show right now, Innova forever and always, it seems like will be the Titan. You know what I mean? Like they would have to make some astronomically poor business decisions in terms of like overall disc popularity, company popularity.
Mhm.
I think that Innova will like, I mean, at least for the foreseeable future, they're just going to be there. I think
Yeah.
Innova, or like I said, MVP and Discraft are making great strides, particularly Discraft. I feel like that, since the Macbeth signing in 2019, it's only been an upward trend. But
Mhm.
MVP's on a very accelerated pace, the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially like I feel bad for not really. I mean, I do, but for James, he went and won the world title, and like as soon as Simon signed, I feel like everything about him was just kind of forgotten. And then Eagles signed, and like I felt like he like kept getting pushed aside. But when you think about it, with James, Simon, Eagle, and now Jerm, they have like a crazy solid lineup. I mean, skill wise, one, but two, like just personality wise, like they're like those four guys are like probably top 10 most likable guys,
Oh,
on tour.
absolutely.
And
For
so,
sure.
and especially, so I don't know if you watched some of the YouTube videos on Simon's channel, but him, James, and Jeremy were just throwing a bunch of MVP molds together. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I watched something because they were down in Charlotte, right? And Simon
Yeah.
hit like a bank board tree
Yeah.
ace and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it was fun to see Germ. And granted, I act like I'm saying this like I spend a ton of time with Germ. I don't.
He just
Uh,
looked like he was having fun.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. You could tell he was
Yeah.
enjoying learning new discs because, like, if you
Yeah.
watch his in the bags, like, he has like 15-year-old discs in his bag that he's been throwing for 10 years. So it's like, I mean, when you're competing at a high level, that's always fun, but I feel like that would get boring after a while. You know what I mean? If your bag hasn't changed in
Yeah.
8 years, you're
Yeah.
like,
There's a level of excitement, Now, and,
yeah.
and and what's good is that I think a lot of these guys, particularly the guys that were signing like last year, 2 years ago, that were expecting big contracts, and then you saw the first wave of like manufacturers like, hey, we actually can't do that anymore. And
Hmm.
then it was kind of like a grass isn't always greener situation. I think the grass is going to be greener for Big Germ at MVP. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think so
think
too.
because I think he was making plenty of money from disc sales with Thunderbirds. You know what I mean? I'm
And the
sure he was
bosses
doing
too.
just
Those
fine for
bosses popped
himself.
off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't think money was a problem, but I think that this is probably something that's really exciting for him. He gets to be with people he likes. I mean, yeah, I know he likes a lot of the Team Enema guys too, but yeah, I think he gets to do new things, throw new discs at a stage of his career where he's kind of transitioning a little bit. Like he's transitioning out of the MPO scene as much, but now he gets to do that with exciting new plastic.
Well, and one of the things too, I was watching those videos was that he was like excited to throw mids again. And I guess I never realized it, but Innova is like, other than the Rock and Rock 3, their mid-range selection, you have the Mako 3, that's popular, but you don't hear a lot of people throwing Gators or Caymans or anything like that. You know,
Well, I think a lot of people do throw them, I think. But I think for Big Germ, I remember that clip. Germ said he doesn't have shots that he can do like flip up straight forehands with mid ranges.
yeah,
And that is very true. Like that doesn't really exist in the
yeah.
Innova lineup,
Well,
particularly.
and it's one of
Because
those things,
you've got like the overstable mids and stuff, but you don't have anything that's
sure.
finessey like that.
Yeah, because I was watching him like, I think maybe it was on his Instagram, but he was like just like touchy little like hex forehand shots, just like they're just bullets. And I was like, I would love to be able to do that like one time. You know what I mean? But I will give credit, like him talking about that made me like really like realize and go through like the companies MVP's mid-range selection. And granted, you have MVP, Axiom, Streamline that all fit in because the Hex is technically Axiom. But under the MVP umbrella, they probably have, in my opinion, the best mid-range lineup that you can have. And like I found that out recently because like I lost the pyro, but I have the balance in there now, and it's pretty close. It's close enough for me. But I have like all stabilities of MVP mids. Like I have the hex as my neutral. I have the pyro or the balance, and then I have the detour now as like a flippier, more understable mid. But yeah, that's like everything they have as far as mid range goes is incredibly solid. But I don't know. I think it'll be a good move for him in the long run. And I believe they said they were going to help him like with that transitional phase, like going into probably more commentary, I'm guessing, is his transitional phase. But yeah,
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, like, in terms of Jeremy's relationship with Innova, obviously, like in a bunch of Instagram comments, he was like, it was all love, like no hard feelings, like between him or
yeah,
between the company. But this kind of goes into like Ken's thing a little bit. And I know we're not going to talk about Climbmo disc golf much. I know we ordered some stuff though,
we
so
did. So yeah,
we're gonna
you'll
be doing
see a
some
video on those
we're gonna be
eventually.
doing some disc reviews. But I saw somebody, man, I don't know what podcast it was, or I would shout him out. I feel bad that I don't remember what it was called, but Ken was on a podcast, and they were asking him like basically what happened. Did you got this? Because in the little documentary thing they made, Ken was basically like, I got approached by what's his name, Bob at Discraft.
Bob Julio.
Uh, yeah, and he was like, "Hey, we want to do this, make your legacy known amongst players, and go do this thing with you." And he's like, "Yeah, it's great." And the guy on the podcast is basically like, did you go to Innova and say like they're offering me this? Like, do you guys
Yeah,
want to try to match? You know what I mean? And Innova literally was basically like, no thanks,
yeah, we're
good
good.
luck, which is crazy. I mean, like
Yeah, it is
Ken's
interesting.
literally the GOAT, you know what I mean? Like an unprecedented record, obviously in a different era, but an unprecedented run of dominance, that they were basically just like, yeah,
Yeah,
crazy. And
it is
so I
interesting
wonder
though.
how much of that, is with Jeremy too. I'll bet MVP probably made a nice offer and they're like, yeah, great, power to you, go do it.
Yeah,
Now again, no hard feelings, but just we're not gonna pursue it either. It's you got it. Go for it.
yeah. Yeah, that is interesting about Ken. The only thing I could see Innova just like straight up being like, we're good on that is like he really hasn't been around the game. I mean, he kind of popped up a couple times within the last couple of years, but before that, it was like he was seemingly non-existent. You know what I mean? Like he's always this legend you talk about, but it almost like he wasn't a real person. You know what I mean?
Well, like he really can't even play right now. Like he's
I
not
did hear that.
like his
Yeah.
body doesn't allow him to play for long durations.
Yeah, I
So it's
think
not like he's going to be playing with this new brand of stuff, but he is going to be
yeah.
an awesome ambassador. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think this was Dad telling me this. He watched Tour Life when they had him on there for and did a little interview with him. I guess he was basically saying that he hopes these discs sell well because he would basically take this money to have the surgeries he needs. That way he can go out and play. He's I guess Ken said he would like to be able to play. Like he's obviously not going to go full tour or anything like that. But like if he could just play USDGC and Worlds every year, he was like that would be incredible. So definitely something to think about there
Yeah,
as
but right
well.
now his body doesn't really let him do it. So
Yeah,
anyway, I
but
know that wasn't really a topic we were going to talk about,
no,
but it
good
was one
side
that I
point
found
though.
interesting because I think that could have been something that Jeremy had, where it's like, hey, MVP
Yeah,
is doing this thing for me, and it was like, okay, great, go do it.
right. Yeah, but I think that's why Innova did so well during COVID is they didn't change anything. You know what I mean? Where the COVID money came and everyone was getting paid, Innova stayed the course, really. You know what I mean? And didn't like. I
I
mean,
mean,
granted,
and
I have no idea what the
on
contracts are like, but it didn't look like they were throwing out big money at anyone. They didn't sign anyone huge. They
yeah,
kept Calvin, which is great. They kept Jerm at
yeah,
the time, Nate Sexton. They have big names that sell discs, but it wasn't like
yeah,
they were just
but
throwing hundreds of
but
thousand.
that's exactly right. 'Cause you look at the result of that now with dynamic disc, because everybody was like, well, why wouldn't they try to keep Ricky? Why wouldn't they? Because yeah, I mean, imagine Ricky going to Innova. Well, actually, he left his contract early, so that's like a double whammy. But yeah, imagine Ricky going to Innova and being like, "Hey, Dynamic Disc is going to pay me $1 million a year. You guys want to match that?" Nope,
Yeah, we're
we do
good.
not want to match that. No thanks. And everybody's like, "Why would you not do that?" He's the top of his game. He's still like number two player in the world at that time. He's still top five player in the world right now, easily,
Yeah.
but you see the repercussions of that. And I think there's some other things that we could get into that I don't think we need to get into right now. We can maybe look at that, seeing if, Ricky does actually stay with Dynamic. But you see that with Innova as well, they've stayed the most consistent with their price point through COVID as well.
Oh,
Like you still
definitely.
see Innova discs, Star Champion discs are 18, $19 on their website. You go over and try to buy a Ricky General, it's $29.
That one's kind of
Twenty
an
nine ninety
anomaly,
nine.
but I totally see where you're
But even
coming
still,
from
like most
because
Tour
that's
Series
like,
stuff is 26, $27.
yeah,
I mean, the most expensive disc I've seen from Innova is their Tour Series stuff, and it's still like $24 for
yeah,
for this year's Halo Sexton Firebirds. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just that's another thing that I think Innova has done really well is that they haven't really wavered. I mean, I'm sure that inflation has made production costs go up a little bit,
Mhm.
but not enough to make a disc $30. You're not going to convince me of that.
Well, yeah, I think we talked
Eh,
about this last time with Isaac Shrives. I was like, there's no
yeah,
reason I should be paying. Well, I mean, and granted, add shipping, but it was like $35 for a disc, and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't need it that
Pass.
bad. It's not going to make me that
Yeah,
much better,
no,
you know.
no. So
But
I think that's another thing that Innova's done particularly well. But anyway, we can switch over to the different events that happened this weekend.
yeah, do you want to go Tour Down Under or
Yeah,
Memorial
let's do Tour Down
first?
Under. Tour Down Under first.
Sure. Tour Down Under. This was the Taupo Classic, I believe, probably pronounced wrong. Um, Aiden Scott actually took it down.
You
That's
love seeing not and Aiden's not random. I was gonna say you love seeing random people take it down. That's not true. Aiden's not random. You know,
yeah,
he is a great player, very skilled guy. But you definitely didn't see him anywhere near the top really at all last year. So it's fun on these types of events to get to see guys like that kind of pop off.
yeah. So when I was caddying for Jake at Worlds, Aiden was on the card like 3 out of the 4 days or something like that. And so like we're not buddies or anything like that, you know what I mean? But like we had good conversation with that, and you can see he really likes playing disc golf. Like I mean, he's obviously a young kid. We're probably pretty close to the same age. He honestly might even be younger than I am. But uh, dude chucks far. He's what I would like to be. Is like he's like an overstable on Anheuser guy, and it just like holds straight the whole time. He's like one of those guys, but he throws far. He's super funny. But yeah, honestly, really good for him. I think doing stuff like this before the pro tour starts just helps build that confidence because like Ezra and Braden Sides got second, Robert Burge, I guess fourth, Chandler Fry was up there calling. You know,
Let's go, Chandler.
there's yeah, I know. There's some. I mean, Ezra's probably the heaviest hitter over there. You know,
Totally.
but
Got to be the highest rated guy in New Zealand right now.
yeah, probably for sure. So like the fact that he can beat these guys, you know, why would he not be able to do that here? You know what I mean? Like mentally, just thinking about that. If I were him, being like, hey, I can get it done. You know what I mean? So I like
What were
stuff like that.
conditions like though? They weren't nearly as bad as last week, were they?
I've been busy, so I honestly didn't watch coverage. I know he shot a clean 11 under the last round, 1085 rated. So, uh, wind or not, really good score.
Oh, I mean,
Um,
if there's wind, that's redonkulous.
yeah. So I'm not 100%. I think this was like 3 hours in some direction from the last tournament. So, you know, conditions might have been slightly different, but I'm
Well,
not
yeah, New
100%.
Zealand's like maybe the size of, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Like New Zealand's, I mean, straight up. I mean, Rhode Island might be a little small, but New Zealand's not big.
Yeah. It's, yeah.
So,
So yeah, shout out to Aiden. You know, good for
yeah,
him.
that's
You,
awesome.
you like to see that,
Did you notice
especially
what discs he was throwing?
uh shoot.
Because
Honestly, I
he's an
think
unsigned guy right now, isn't he?
he is. Which honestly, shout out that win there. That's probably that's definitely a really good look. I
Was there
honestly
a prodigy disc in the bag? That's what you got to
there
wonder.
there definitely was.
Oh, there was.
Yeah, I
That's
saw
funny.
some in that first event of the year, but I don't know. I think he's throwing. I mean, he's probably throwing a little bit of everything to be honest with you, but
Yeah,
I remember, and maybe I know if I watched this other coverage, but like Robert Burge was throwing a ton of dynamic that first event,
yeah. That's what I've
which
heard.
obviously I'm sure he is this event too, but they were really like
Yeah,
honing in on that, that he was
yeah,
throwing
yeah.
generals and raiders and evaders and whatever. But yeah, so that's MPO side.
Also, I
FPO
think
here.
just as a friendly note, shout out to the Go Throw coverage. I'm loving the look of it.
I do
Uh,
too. It was like
colors are good. Commentary's good. We love Luke
well,
Humphreys in
Luke
the booth.
Humphreys, Nate Perkins, they're good
Yeah,
at
I
it.
mean that's just a great commentary set. I think if that's actually like what they're going to lean into, I know Nate like does more stuff with DGN during the
Yeah.
season probably, but if they could have Nate and Luke like pretty regularly, that's a dynamic commentary duo right there. I'm
Yeah,
loving
well,
that.
I think it was like Luke and Paul Oman were doing it, and then it was Nate Perkins and Juliana
Oh,
Korver
okay,
for the FPO side. But still, I mean,
gotcha.
so if you just get those two together, then it's like
I
it's
still like Paul
wraps.
Oman, tall Paul. I'm a
He's
tall
just
Paul guy.
he's got. This is totally. we're getting off here, but he just has one of those voices where you're like, he's probably like a really cool dude.
For
But
sure. Most
anyways,
definitely.
we'll move on.
Yeah.
FPO here, Emily Weatherman took it down. I can't
With
remember.
the new well, not with the new plastic, but with the
Well, it is new.
re-signed plastic. She
No,
wasn't with
she
NFL?
was unsigned, I believe. I think last
Oh,
year
intriguing.
she was like a rookie, and then I got this. I think this last season was her sophomore campaign. Maybe
Cool, cool, cool.
I could be wrong with that.
Was she
She's not been
rookie of the
around
year
long.
a few years ago?
Uh, I honestly don't think so. I don't know. I know Ellie Ezra
Yeah.
was this year, but
Interesting.
took it down. That Sophia and I'm gonna say it wrong now. I heard it right when I was watching coverage, but I'm gonna say Donachie, but it's not that. I forget what it is, but she got second, and then 5 strokes after that, that Taylor Kochek, and I'm
Yep, yep.
butchering names today. Um, third place, and they were the only. Granted, there's 7 people in the FPO field. Those 3 were the only people that shot under par. So
There were 7 people.
one, two, three, four, five. Yep, 7 people. Like
Wow.
Juliana Korver finished fourth at 7 up.
Mm,
So I don't know if just a big course, because I know that Taylor, she she bombs actually,
yeah.
but
Juliana, if you ever listen to this podcast, you got any of your old Valkyries, hit a brother up.
yeah,
Those are
actually,
great flyers.
yeah,
Great flyers.
yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I imagine. Uh, I mean, it's tough to say. There's going to be much
Good to
difference in
see,
these
but
next.
Emily picking up a win early, even on this, like again, it's just same thing for Aiden. Like that's a good confidence booster, going into a season where she could like make some moves on the FPO field. Like she could easily be a top 10 or better FPO player. If she really
Yeah,
puts her mind to it and kind of grinds it out on the tour and
yeah,
has that confidence from these types of events. Particularly as she's like now, if she didn't have a lot of Innovatis before, now she's got a full bag. So that's still good to see.
absolutely. Yeah. So I don't know. Still 3 more weeks of it, so we'll talk about this probably 3 more times. But yeah, I believe that's it for the tour down under. If you have any questions, let me know. You got anything?
No, I think I'm good. I'm excited to talk about the Memorial though. I love the
Yeah,
Memorial.
I was able to watch round 1 of this one. We'll start with the MPO again, just because I have it pulled up.
Yeah.
But
Well, round four. I actually don't know who won because I didn't watch. I didn't look at spoilers, and I didn't watch round four yet. It like just came
well,
out on
you're
YouTube.
about to get some
Uh,
spoilers
yeah,
here.
yeah. So it is what it is,
Who
but it's
did you
okay.
think won?
I don't know. I mean, I would guess Ricky, but
Wow,
yeah.
Ricky 5th place actually.
Oh, really? Well,
Gannon
he was on
Buhr
lead card, wasn't he? Well, sure. Gannon is,
Gannon
yeah.
Buhr ended up winning. I think he was down.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I know. I think he was down 3 or 4 strokes.
Ricky was on lead card going into the last round, though, wasn't he?
I
He
think
just kind of
so.
drop off.
Maybe.
Hmm.
I haven't watched the last round either. Dude, I'm cramping in my neck too. This is a side note, but it hurts. Gannon Buhr, I think he was down 3 or 4 going in. Well, actually, let me look. He was down 4 strokes going into the final round. Ended up winning by 3 strokes. So, I mean, 13 under, 1084 round. Um, yeah, that's. I mean,
More of the same.
yeah, it's
What do you
tough.
expect?
It's tough
Did they
being.
play Fountain or did they play Vista for the last round?
They played Vista for the last round.
Oh, okay. I was about to say Fountain Hill's more placement shots. Obviously, like you got way more OB and Peninsula type of
Yeah,
situations.
yeah,
So that would have been a little bit more impressive, I think. But
yeah.
yeah, I
They
mean, it's
played
kind of a birdie or die for him out there
Fountain
at
Hill's
Vista.
first 2, and then Vista last 2. But it's tough. I mean, it's Ezra and Anthony tied second at 39. It's home course for them, so like you kind of expect them to shoot well. I mean, like Ezra's last 4 or 5 YouTube videos have been out there, so he's definitely like they have the course knowledge. But when you have a guy like Gannon who like literally just like doesn't mess up, it's like
Sure.
what are you supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, AB's been
Yeah,
playing those courses for ages.
yeah. Eagle McMahon 4th place. I think that's like low key his highest finish with MVP now.
Yeah, I want to see Eagle be great again. I really do. I just I was on the bag. I won't go too far into this, but I was on the bag for Andrew at USDGC, and we got to play with Eagle. I think it was in our it was either, man, I can't remember if it was third round or fourth round, but um, he didn't play particularly well that round. Like he still played fine, but I think he wanted to play better, obviously. Um, but watching him live was probably one of the most surreal like moments of like the difference between myself and a professional.
Yeah.
Like I've seen professionals play, and I'm like, yes, it's obvious that you're better than me. But I've seen like we saw Eagle McMahon on coverage and stuff when he was like in the 1050 club with like Paul, Ricky, Calvin, and it was like
Yeah.
them, and that was it. And they were just
Yeah.
dominating,
Yeah.
and they were the top four in like a lot of events. Uh, but like hearing the disc leave his hand was crazy. Like up
Yeah.
close, I
Yeah.
mean, the disc leaves with such velocity, particularly because he had a bad hole. He like threw it immediately OB on I think it's hole 11, the one with the hedge. AB also threw it immediately out of bounds in the last round.
What course are you talking
The one
about?
with the at USDGC.
Oh, oh. Yeah.
It's got the hedge that goes all the way along the right side of the fairway. And then the one after that is the one that like sometimes people take 8 or 9 on. Like Paul McBeth took
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
9 in
yeah.
like 2021.
I'm tracking. I'm tracking.
Yep. Bad hole on 11. Got a bogey or worse, I think. I can't remember. And then he was able to let one rip, just to
Smoked
watch
it.
him like rage throw. It was
Yeah.
insane. I mean, easily the farthest I saw anybody throw the whole week. It was just nuts.
Yeah.
So anyway, all that to say, Eagle McMahon, we love you. I really want to see you back. Like I
Does he win an
whenever I
event
could
this year?
see
Yes or no?
I hope he does. I really hope he does. Like when he was on a tear in like 2022, like winning D-Glow, like he was just popping off. And I just like he has such a fire like to like want to win. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's contagious. It's fun.
absolutely. Yeah. FPO side, I just looked. Not much to talk about here. Jennifer Allen is the only name that you or I would know on here, I believe. She won
Yep, I was about to
by
say, did she win?
15 strokes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, she shot 15 under. Second place, shout out Natalie Ortiz, even par.
Let's go.
Yeah. So that's yeah, not much to go off with the a small, well actually it's a big A tier, but not a lot of big names out there. But I think that's all we got as far as main talking points. Is it time for the Price is Wrong? You got something for me?
Yeah, so the way we're gonna do the Price is Wrong this week,
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
I've got an image here. Again,
Show
we're
show it
going
to,
with
you can show it to the camera this time.
I can?
Well, just hold your phone up to the camera so they can see.
Oh, okay. Sure, sure. Okay. I was gonna send you a picture of it, but I guess if you're okay, just like me
Yeah,
holding it and
I'll give
showing
it a
it to
look.
you.
See here.
Okay, I need to try to figure out how to just get the image. Okay.
Can you
It
describe what
is
we're
a
seeing?
yeah, it's just a disc. It's just a disc.
Perfect. Perfect.
But it's again listed on Facebook Marketplace. I'll tell you the background is obviously somebody's like bed where they've just laid it on the bed and took a
Sure.
picture of it.
Yeah.
It is an Innova DX Shark with some interesting artwork though. So, but you know, we'll let you try to guess. Are you ready?
Jeez. I guess so. Yeah. Oh, that's like a new run of shark. That's pretty. That's like probably a starter pack shark. Um,
Yeah. Price is wrong.
the price is wrong. I bet. Geez, anything over $6 is asking way too much for that disc. And with that being said, geez, I already know it's going to be like they want $12 for it, but I'm going to say $5.
$5, is that your final answer?
That's $4.99.
I think we need to start keeping a track
Of how
because I
far
think
off
as
I
far
am.
like because technically you did succeed. Like you're under the number.
I'm like too
Uh,
far.
you're astronomically far. They listed this disc for $75.
What?
Yeah,
Can you show it to me again?
$75. Yeah, no, it is. It's a new run starter set shark. That is what it is. I'm trying to zoom in on it a little bit and give you a better.
$75?
Just a shark, $75. I don't know what they paid for it,
Oh
but
my gosh.
I mean, I'll bet they got it in a pack, maybe.
They
I
got
don't know.
really imagine
And it's actually discounted. It's discounted. It was listed for 100 initially.
well sure.
Now they've discounted it to 75.
I, I
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
actually have no words for that. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense to me.
Listen, I really hope you sell it. I hope you make that price point
Hit him with it. Is this
back.
still available?
Is this? It literally is. It's like preloading. Is this still available? You can send it to him. I'm trying to see where it's at. Oh, it's in Missouri.
Someone, okay, this is total side note, and we don't have much time here. That this would just be my joke is someone did this when I sold my first van. They said, I forget what I had a price at, but they said, "Is this still available?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "That doesn't surprise me." And so I was like, "All right," but I would definitely hit that guy with, "Yeah, that doesn't surprise me," because I there's no way that disc has sold. But
Yeah,
anyways, way
is
off
what it
there,
is.
way
Yeah.
off.
So we're gonna
That's
start doing an overall. We'll do an overall tally to see how far away you are.
yeah. Do you want to wrap us up here?
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna be doing kind of a remote situation next couple weeks while Cameron is traveling.
Should
But he'll be
just be
back
this
in like
weekend,
two
next week.
weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
I'll be back
And then we'll be
before
back in the studio.
February.
Yeah. We've got Pro Tour events are coming up in like a month. So that's
Yeah,
pretty wild. Gonna be exciting. Chess.com, is it end of February? It's not chess.com anymore. It's the Florida Open
Florida
or
Open.
whatever. Yeah.
It's like second to last week, maybe. I want to say like the
Of February?
21st. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
be pulling that out of nowhere. Well, that is the
So
last
yeah,
week
we're
because
we're
there's only
literally right at
24
about a
games.
month until the Pro Tour is back.
Yeah.
So we'll be excited to get to cover that with you guys. We'll have some preseason predictions. I think we're going to pick out some of our way too early player of the year candidates. Maybe see what we can
Maybe do that
predict
like
of the future. So
first week of February, like first Monday in
yeah,
February. That's we'll
yeah.
do
So
way
we
too early
just have like
predictions.
one tournament to go off of.
No, we'll do it like the whatever, like the week before
Oh,
Florida,
okay,
like the season starts. We'll hit our early predictions, and then we can keep track throughout the year who we had.
gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, this has been the All Things Considered Disc Golf podcast, and we will see you guys in the next one.